Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. I'm Dan O'Day along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How you doing this week, Dan?
I'm doing good because baseball is being played. And one thing I love about baseball is there's lots of ways to enjoy it. And one of the ways I enjoy it is this head-to-head league I'm in, Field of Dreams. The playoffs have begun, Steve.
First week of the playoffs, and a couple of teams get buys, 1 and 2 seeds, three, four, 5 and 6. That's your first round.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the one matchup was we had Juiced Up for Summer against IP Tigers. That was 3 versus 6. IP Tigers won 6-3. We had a couple close categories. Home runs was an 8-8. Ribbies, IP Tigers won ribbies by one and won stolen bases by one. And then after that, they were 11 strikeouts behind IP Tigers. So that was juiced up for summer stat, actually. So there were a couple stats, but IP Tigers had this matchup, I think, most of the week. Close, but IP Tiger moves on.
And IP Tigers, remember they finished the year strong. They had kind of gotten off to a middling, stumbling thing at the beginning. They had like a 1-8 week, an 0-9 week, another 1-8 week. And but they finished 9-0, 7-1, 9-1, 7-3, made a ton of run, like 32-5 over the last 4 weeks to make that run up there, get to number three, and then they actually win the first week of the season of the playoffs.
Wow. Really interesting, actually. The last day, IP Tigers had a 333 average with 4 runs, 2 homers, 4 ribbies, and 2 stolen bases. They didn't have a good ERA and whip. They did have 7 Ks. And Juiced Up for Summer came in at 241 average with 3 stolen bases in the last day. So almost caught up in that category. So interesting matchup. And then we had the really interesting matchup between number 5 and number 4. Creek Expos at 4 playing Lumber Company at 5. Lumber Company won 5-4, Steve.
Lumber Company, which had gotten off to a good start and was the opposite of IP Tigers. Remember, they were not good down the stretch. They kind of went lumbering into the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, if I look, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They only had one win in the last 7 weeks of the season.
Yes. Oh,
But so they did stumble into this thing against the Creek Expos, who had been playing well.
they have been playing well. And these two teams are the teams. Lumber Company made 5 moves on the year. Creek Expos made 13. And get this, Steve. Going into Sunday's play, Creek Expos was up 7-3.
At on Sunday morning.
On Sunday morning, before the games played, Creek Expos was up 7-3. Lumber Company came back to win 5-4. And
Oh,
it's crazy. One of the reasons is because get this, Lumber Company batted 342 with 10 runs, 8 ribbies, 4 homers, and 2 stolen bases on the last day. 21 Ks in 11 innings, 2.31 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. That was their Sunday.
that was their Sunday?
That was their Sunday. In
Oh,
retrospect, Creek Expos had
oh,
1 run and 1 homer and 3 ribbies, 2 stolen bases, 0.74 they batted, 3 innings pitched. Um, so a fantastic takeover on the last day of the matchup. Lumber Company wins 5-4. An incredible
what
matchup.
a day, though. That
What
day
a
sounds amazing.
day!
I can relate more myself with Creek Expo Sunday because that's how my Sundays went all season.
All season
But
long,
wow.
your players were like Monday through Thursday players. Um,
Exactly.
you had a great Monday through Thursday team, actually. So that was a very
Yeah.
interesting matchup. And then another thing that was noticeable is like, okay, so these teams are not known to make a lot of moves. Like I said, Lumber Company's made 5, Pika Expos have made 3, I believe.
Those are the two lowest of the season,
Yes,
right?
obviously. Yeah, that's just so low to me. That's not even one per week for E Creek, and then 5 on the season. So
Yeah, 5-13.
so I was looking at it, and listen, there's Monday morning quarterback. Who knows if they were busy? Maybe they're not. I don't know what happened, but Creek Expos was lost by the strikeout category by 11, and
Yeah,
44 innings to 38. Lumber Company won on the last day of the season. As I just mentioned, Lumber Company had 21 strikeouts in 11 innings, Steve,
that's crazy.
and he won the strikeout category by 11.
Hmm.
So, and the last day of the season, Creek Expos had five. So, getting more innings could have helped Creek Expos. Hindsight is 2020. Just an amazing comeback by Lumber Company. Really impressive.
Sure, if you would have thrown two starters, two
Yeah,
more starters,
yeah,
you could easily get 6 Ks, 7 Ks, right? Yeah,
easily. I would say,
easily.
so, and that
I
would
mean, you
have,
never know.
you never know, but if he takes that category, that 5-4 Lumber win becomes a 5-4 Creek Expo win. So,
Hmm.
tough matchup. Heinz, listen, hindsight's 2020, as I said, and it was a great matchup. Lumber Company
But
survives and
if
moves
you're
on.
already if you're already assuming you're losing ERA and WHIP, right?
Okay, well, let's see. Yes. Lumber Company had whip
Then
real wrapped up in Creek Expos. I don't know what going into the last day was. I should have it. I don't know where it is. But it was a big gap. It was a very large gap. So they were not close. 305 to 443 it
yeah.
ended up.
So if there's no threat to your ratio stats, then you should definitely be going for the cumulative Ks if you look. Sure.
Absolutely. And and just to let you know, I didn't realize this. I want to go back to the two stuff for some for IB Tigers. Going in to Sunday, IP Tigers only had a 5-4 lead. So the 5-4 lead became a 6-3. I found a picture I took to make sure I remembered it. And then, Steve, we had some other races going on. We had Mr. Awesome's Momo had a bye. Stony Sliders had a bye. But the consolation bracket, I found this also very interesting. Had a two buys in the consolation bracket. But the Atlanta Braves and the SoCal Stat Challenge, number 10 versus 11, tied 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Five
Raptor
five.
and then Raptor number 9 and Humboldt Crabs and number 12 played each other and they tied 5-5. And I
Yeah.
just found it
I,
funny that these teams just on the outside of the bubble, all of them really. So Stout Cowtown's maybe a little farther back and Humboldt, but 5-5 ties. Of course, a higher ranked team going in the playoffs moves and wins. Atlanta Braves won and the Raptor won in the consolation prize. But interesting, 5-5 ties.
I think next week's going to be pretty good week.
Well, we have Mr. Alfson's Momos, the number one team in the league, taking on Lumber Company, who finished fifth and just had an impressive Sunday comeback victory. So they're a team to be fearful of. And then the Stony Sliders, my team, going against IP Tigers, who had a slim lead, stretched it out in the last day. I believe they're up most of the week, but I don't remember for sure. Those are the two big matchups. Fifth place game will be Creek Expos against Juice Up for Summer, so that'll be interesting. And the consolation bracket moves on. You know, it's always
You
interesting.
are though.
Yes, yes.
I think IP Tigers might be the hottest team right now of the four.
Oh, I know. I'm worried about my
And that's the
matchup.
thing. They are, I mean, if you look, that's what I'm saying. To even get to this point is pretty good for them because they finished the season 32-5 over the last 4 weeks. So
Right.
that's a plus 27, right?
Yes.
But they finished the year plus 11. So that means at one point, what, they're minus 20, they're minus 16
Yes.
going into those last 4 weeks of the season. And then they just turned it on. And then
On.
they just won this matchup 6-3, which is a solid win too.
Yep.
So I think you might have your hands full this week with IP Tigers.
So my hands are full, and I looked into it. I made 5 moves last week on my buy, just to let you know, um, which was interesting. My bye week, I'm looking for the next week's matchup, and I'm playing IP, so I looked at IP's team. And Steve, I realize he has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine starting pitchers, I believe.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
I'm
nine
gonna look
starting
right now.
pitchers. Look at right now. He's got four going today.
Oh, and he's got Finnegan, who I dropped, and then he got traded to the Tigers, of course. Oh, I like his staff for how big it is.
I know all
Wow.
nine are kind of quality. So I was like, and I was
Oh,
looking at my team, and I was like, all right, I forget how many starters do I have, and I'm like, let me count here. One, two, three, four, five, six, and I'm like, that's not going to cut it for sure when it comes to strikeouts. So I made a couple moves, and I picked up a few pitchers, and I picked up McGeevy. I don't know if you know who he is. And I dropped Batty, and I picked up Darvish and dropped Kittredge today. So I picked up those two, and then I also picked Bubba Chandler up, even though I had picked him up and dropped him, because I know he's only going 4 innings, but if they're good 4 innings, I'll take him.
yeah, like if he strikes out eight guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I picked up a couple starters because I realized I don't think six starters. I know ERA and WHIP, but you have nine starters versus six. You're definitely the odds-on favorite to win Ks and wins. Anything can happen, of course.
Yeah, I was just looking through his team too. Yeah, good team.
He's got a great team. My team has been good. I finished second in the top tier, not too far behind Momo's. But I have a lot of players have slowed down, and I have, sadly, I have an ailment, Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have an ailment, and it's my team's just not hitting as good as they were. I get people like Trout and Collins since he came back, and Duran has not been playing well lately. Even Bregman's cooled off a little, I believe. They're just not they're not rolling right now.
Angelares, Tolkerson, Raphael, and Bregman, Lindor, Duran, Trout, Marte, Collins. I like that team too, though.
I do. But Langlier's 130 in the last week, Rafaelo 146, Duran 136, Collins 087, Brandon Lowe 125. But none of them are hitting right now. Ramuto is. He's on my bench for some reason. I should make that change right now. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, Steve. I'm gonna play the
I
hot
don't want
player.
to. I don't want to poke the bear, but I kind of like IP Tigers team a little bit more.
Well, the problem is I do too. Especially the way he's been playing. Listen, everything in life is kind of about flow. Are you in flow? Whatever it is you're doing, and it's the same thing in sports. Who's flowing now? Right now, his team is flowing. His players are playing well. My team, as I just went over, so I picked up a couple starters. Hopefully, I can keep pace. It's going to be a tough matchup. I brought up a couple interesting moves, but I wanted to look at the moves before we get off. Um, in the weekend that may have affected things. Juiced up for summer Thursday, picked up Alexander. Juiced up for center, picked up Wentz. So he did pick up some pitchers here. His pitchers
Yeah,
must have been a rotation that his guys weren't starting. That happens. IP Tigers picked up Morales, a starting pitcher. Juiced up for summer, picked up Burrow. So he did pick up a lot of pitches. I don't know if he used all five moves. I should actually look. I picked up a couple people. I picked up Batty, but I dropped him. IP Tigers picked up Talion pitcher, starting pitcher. So IP Tigers picking up pitchers too. That's why he has nine. Mr. Awesome's Momo getting ready for this matchup. He had a bye, picked up Vientos. IP Tiger picked up Hayes, a third baseman. And I picked up Darvish and McGeevy. So those are the playoffs top six pickups the past since Thursday. Steve, exciting all the way through the season. An active league, even the consolation round, finished from 5-5. Everyone's active, I hope. And the first round with a comeback victory, very impressive. And we move on.
Hey, I like that pickup of Mark Vientos by Mr. Awesome's Mojo too. Let's see what that does for him this week, because he's been on a tear over
He's
the
been
past 4 days.
he has been on a tear. That is a good pickup. And listen, really, it shouldn't affect us. Our players didn't actually sit. Our teams just were out of it, so they shouldn't be cold. But we got a couple good matchups: Momo and Lumber, and Stony against IP. Good luck, Momo, because they just had a big comeback. And good luck to me, because IP, as you pointed out, probably in the betting world, maybe more odds on favor because the way they finished the season.
I wouldn't say it's a big favorite, but they might be like a minus 110, minus
Okay.
105.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is the first round playoffs of Field of Dreams head to head league, the best head to league I've ever been in. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Dave Romano. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Good luck, everybody.